Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman was the first Democratic senator to visit Mar-a-Lago, and he says he's committed to working alongside Republicans, but can he find a middle ground with an administration that has spent the first week in power destroying Democratic Party policies? And, you know, let's say, it's a little shaky with democracy. I believe it's only been a week since the former president has retaken office. You were there at inauguration. He's been attempting to flex his power. But are you surprised by anything? I didn't even see what that was.
He was wearing a similar outfit at the inauguration. You looked great.
I totally feel you.
It's not every day you watch a U.S. senator walk headfirst into the lion's den. But John Fetterman, he didn't just stroll onto the View. He stormed the stage with purpose. On a show notorious for turning mild-mannered guests into chew toys, Fetterman came armed, unapologetic, and ready to brawl with the hosts over everything from January 6th to GOP meetups to, yes, whispers of a political drift rightward. Like him or loathe him, Fetterman doesn't do the dance. He doesn't duck. He doesn't weave. He confronts. And that's making people nervous. To some, he's cracking the partisan mold. To others, he's canoodling with MAGA land and flirting with betrayal by cozying up to Truth Social. The big question is this: is Fetterman playing three-dimensional chess while everyone else is still arguing over checkers? Or is he tossing away political capital for a few fleeting moments in the spotlight? Let's peel back the curtain on what really went down.
Okay, I get you. But are you surprised at anything you've been seeing, or do you anticipate that there's going to be changes that we should be prepped for that we're not thinking about?
I mean, honestly, I haven't been surprised by anything now. I mean, he's been doing essentially what he actually campaigned on that. Mm-hmm. He announced he is going to pardon the J6 individuals. He is going to absolutely go after the border. So there's a lot of things that he's already ran on. I mean, criticized a lot of it, and I don't agree with everything either, but it's undeniable he actually ran on that and been really upfront.
January 6th wasn't just a date. It was a rupture in American democracy. And no one knows that better than former D.C. police officer Michael Fanone, who nearly died defending the Capitol from rioters. Beaten, electrocuted, left with a heart attack, Fanone didn't just survive, he emerged as a human warning flare against historical amnesia. So when John Fetterman invoked his name during the View appearance, it wasn't for applause. It was personal. All these people that said they had our backs ran for the hills, Fetterman said, scorning political leaders who turned coward. Then he connected Fanone's trauma with his own post-stroke reality. I've had a stroke. I get it. It wasn't a grab for sympathy. It was solidarity. But Fetterman didn't stop there. He torched the idea of pardoning the insurrectionists. To him, that's not just bad policy. It's a desecration of democracy. He called the attack what it was, indefensible. And he made it clear, his line in the sand is thick, bold, and non-negotiable.
Early on, immediately after the election, I was like, hey, we have a choice. We can freak out and follow every other thing around, like a cat, with a laser, after everyone. But I'm not that guy. I'm not going to be that Democrat. For me, there's things I'm going to agree with, I'm going to disagree with, but I'm in the business of finding wins for Pennsylvania and for the nation, and engaging the president. I think I see that as doing my job.
While some Democrats are tiptoeing away from controversy, Fetterman is planting his flag in no man's land. He's been roasted by his own base lately for some eyebrow-raising decisions, signing up for Trump's Truth Social, dropping by Mar-a-Lago, and embracing discussions with Republicans that many on the left see as a bridge too far. His stances on immigration and fracking have only added fuel to the speculation bonfire. Is he shifting right, selling out? Fetterman swatted away the accusations like gnats. I haven't changed, he insisted, emphasizing that he's still fiercely pro-choice, an advocate for LGBTQ rights, and a believer in a humane immigration system. The Mar-a-Lago visit. Not a political defection, but an uncomfortable conversation. And uncomfortable conversations, he argued, are necessary when the nation's dialogue is broken. I'm not compromising my values, he said. But I am willing to listen. In other words, this isn't a retreat, it's a recalibration.
Well said. And I wanted to ask ask you, so you went down to Mar-a-Lago and met with the president, and he actually was singing your praises after. He said you were fascinating, impressive, a common sense person. I agree with him on that. Not a liberal or a conservative. I'm curious what your takeaway was from meeting with him, and what, if you found that there's any specific policy areas you think you can work with him on.
Yeah, well, I think overall it was a positive experience. I mean, he was kind, he was cordial. It wasn't in any kind of theater. It wasn't trying to get your picture taken to kind of put something out on social media. It was just really a conversation. I actually spoke for over.
His voting record tells its own story, one that defies easy categorization. Fetterman stood with Democrats in torpedoing Pete Hegseth's nomination for defense secretary, citing serious competency concerns. But when it came to Republican nominees like Kristi Noem and Marco Rubio, he voted yes, not because he's drinking the GOP Kool-Aid, but because he believes in judging qualifications over party labels. And as Senate hearings approach for firebrands like Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr., Fetterman is refusing to telegraph his decisions. He wants to hear from them directly. That stance alone has rattled purists on both ends of the spectrum. But Fetterman is playing a different game, one rooted in scrutiny, not slogans. I don't regret talking to anyone, he said. Whether it's Rubio or RFK Jr., Fetterman insists that refusing dialogue is intellectual cowardice. Critics call him naive. He calls it necessary. Either way, he's redrawing the boundaries of political engagement.
You did get a lot of criticism for it from some people who thought you going to Mar-a-Lago gives cover to Trump by creating the solution that he's amenable to working with Democrats. I was very supportive of when people like Mitt Romney and Rob Portman worked with Joe Biden. So I understand the need for bipartisanship. I didn't love the optics of you going to Mar-a-Lago. He was going to, which is his palace. He was going to be in Washington a week later. But what was your goal? And do you feel ultimately you were successful?
Well, here's what happened. I was being lazy on the couch at like Friday night, and my team reached out saying, "Hey," and I don't know if this is like a trolling or a hoax, but they extended an invitation.
Fetterman's philosophy is simple: talk to everyone, ignore no one. Whether it's Republican kingpins or populist pariahs, he believes that shutting doors only seals echo chambers. You can't make real progress by shutting the door on half the country, he said, with the kind of grit that suggests he means it. These aren't polite coffee chats. They're ideological confrontations, and he welcomes them. He insists this isn't compromise, it's clarification. Listening doesn't mean agreeing. For Fetterman, it's about confronting ideas head-on and testing the strength of his own beliefs. But not everyone is buying it. Skeptics warn that all this fraternizing sends the wrong signal, that it muddies his identity and emboldens political opponents. Fetterman's rebuttal: I haven't changed my values, and I'm not going to. In an age where bipartisanship is branded as betrayal, Fetterman is daring to say that strength lies in transparency, not tribalism.
And overall, my wife was there, and she might be watching right now at home. Hi, Giselle, you're home. And she was there as well, too. And we just had a conversation. And one of the things, can we agree on? Well, one of the things that was easy, like the Dreamers. The Dreamers, immigration, that. And Giselle was part of that community, and we both had the opportunity to express that. I would also, I'm on the Ag Committee, and I think protecting the SNAP as well, too. Food insecurity is really important issue. And some people on that side wants to go after that or weaponize that. Mm-hmm. So for me, those are kind of issues. Other things that we can agree on as well. But overall, it was just a straight up conversation. And I just have a rule: like, I'm going to engage and have a conversation. That's anyone playing it straight, and that's be doing my job again.
To his supporters, Fetterman is a unicorn, an authentic straight talker who's finally cracking through the party machinery. They see him as a rare breed. A Democrat who talks to Republicans without selling his soul. They praise his pragmatism and celebrate his efforts to escape the grip of performative politics. But within his own party, the knives are out, joining Truth Social, meeting Republicans at Mar-a-Lago. For some Democrats, those aren't just eyebrow-raising, they're borderline heresy. A growing chorus on the left is whispering that Fetterman may be losing the plot, that his independence is edging toward apostasy. Yet when asked point-blank on The View whether he's going Republican, Fetterman laughed it off. "I make a terrible Republican," he quipped, pointing to his unwavering stances on abortion rights, LGBTQ protections, and humane immigration policies. "These aren't window dressings," he stressed. "They're the bedrock of who he is." He urged critics to stop chasing shadows and look at the record. The votes, the bills, the stances. Judge him by what he does, not the headlines. "I'm not wavering," he declared. And by the time the credits rolled, one thing was crystal clear. John Fetterman isn't just navigating a political tightrope. He's daring others to join him on the wire.